Hi, this is Candy at Urban Pioneer. My chickens have a disco ball. I want to talk to you about something. I want to talk to you about how much do we need, okay? If you live in a carnal world, meaning without God, you're going to need a lot. That's why people scramble, because they don't believe God will provide. But it's a heavy life. Did you ever you've been thirsty and water is the answer, but if you drink too much water, what happens? Bloated belly, it feels horrible. Oh, drink too much. Food's the same way. Stuff is the same way. When you don't have something, having something is the answer. But if you are, say, raised poor and having something's the answer, you don't realize that there's an end to that, because there's a just enough amount, kind of like the three bears. Too much, too little, just right. There comes a point when having too much becomes the pain, and getting rid of something or having less is the relief. You have to ask yourself, where am I in this process? I thought that was turned off. So there's a concept, there's a psychologist named B.J. Fogg, B.J.F.O.G.G. And he had a concept called the simplest machine. And basically, it's when you don't have too much and you don't have too little. You're right in that middle part. That's where you could stay if you have faith, because there are windows of heaven. The Bible talks about the windows of heaven. And two specific places is one, when Jesus was baptized, the windows of heaven opened. So it says there's windows of heaven, and the Holy Ghost came down in the form of a dove. He wasn't a dove, he came in a form like the shape of a dove, I suspect. The other part is that Malachi, which is the last book of the Old Testament, God's talking to the Israelites and said, y'all have stolen from me. And the Israelites are like, well, how would we steal? And God said, in tithes and offerings. He said, prove me in this. God's saying, prove him out, test it. The only place in the Bible he says that. He says, prove me in this, if you bring your tithes and offerings to the storehouse. And I take that to mean the church that feeds you spiritually. Some people go to the Old Testament and say take it to the Levites, but Jesus is of the tribe of Judah and not of the tribe of the Levites, so I think it's the church. But that's deep biblical conversation. But anyway, he says, prove me in this, bring your tithes to the storehouse, and I will open the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing you cannot contain. Again, windows of heaven. If you believe in God, you believe his word, you believe there are windows of heaven. And he said, I will open the windows of heaven, pour out a blessing you cannot contain, and I will rebuke the devourer. Have you ever had so many things, you had it and then it was gone? Something devoured it. You don't have it anymore, right? It's gone. It's been devoured. He said he rebuke it. The spirit of